All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Sit and Kick podcast. I'm your host, David Ribich. And to be honest, I'm just going to go ahead and read this intro that we have from like 2019 for this guest. Today, we're sitting and kicking it with a fellow miler. I would best describe this man as a track and field heartthrob, the mullet man, or even David's mother's favorite runner. As a duo, this is Josh speaking back in the day, we started our battles on the NCAA circuit, and we have most recently seen each other on the world stage in Doha. From the wacky hair to the yeet tattoo on his finger, he doesn't lack in having a rare old laugh. And that is really why we want him on this podcast. He is the most requested guest we have had thus far, Craig Engels. Has anything changed?
God, yeah, probably I'm the least requested guest. I'm not a competitor of Josh's anymore. Jesus, yeah, what else has changed?
Oh man, yeah, just going through some of this, like we literally have part one, part two.
And I don't have my rap memorized anymore.
I know. I was looking at through some of this and it's pretty funny. Who was maybe we just open with some of these. Who was the recent Instagram at when you said, yeah, we get it. You've got a whole extra year to get stronger. You've got a whole extra year to be better. It's your year. Well, here's your reminder that I'm still here ready to destroy your silly dreams.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that was Yared's caption to me.
Oh no.
I'm just messing. Yeah, that was probably my caption to you, Dave.
Probably. I mean, we've raced I think one time in the last 4 years and I had a lame leg. You know, you shoot a horse when they got a lame leg, so I shouldn't even been in that race. So you're lucky you got away from it. And then I broke my hip falling out of bed at 4 a.m. in the morning, but we'll get into that later. So Greg, thank you. Honestly, I was going to come on here and rant alone. I had my studio all set up for myself. I was just going to talk about everything in life, talk about the love of my life, talk about, finances, talk about stock market, all the things that every person wants to hear about. But then I texted, who's the love of my life?
Mm-hmm.
Well, good for everybody. You're in the call.
Yeah.
Yeah, except actually you didn't come to my wedding, so I don't really think that you're up there on the list of my favorite people. But no, I really do appreciate it because if you guys are listening to the podcast and you listened to the last episode, first I want to start it off by thanking everybody for tuning into that Nico and Drew Bosley episode, the two guys that beat Craig Engels in the last Boston race. No? Who'd you get?
Drew.
Nice. Okay. One of them, he outleaned the collegiate record holder for 3,000 meters. And so first off, though, I really did want to thank everybody for listening to that. We got really good response, really good reviews, and honestly, like we few thousand down on like a normal listen, but for the most part, like I was pleasantly surprised with how many listens we got on that episode, compared to what we normally get when Josh and I are just bantering back and forth. So thank you guys. I want to keep this regular. I want to keep this a regular scheduled program for you because podcasting and track and field's all about momentum. Sorry, Craig, you're gonna have to sit through a quick monologue, okay?
But it is nice to hear that people are here to listen to you and not Josh.
So, and that brings up my next point. Thank you. Perfect segue there, co-host Craig Engels.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that I want to keep pushing this podcast forward is because I find this is something that I'm truly passionate about, not only from a career perspective, but also from just a lifestyle perspective. I absolutely love being able to come onto the mic and talk to people like Craig Engels and talk to people like Drew and Nico. And, this is something that I hope to find myself doing continuously beyond being an athlete. And when me and Josh were in communication this fall, I told him like, hey, I want a podcast. And he said, okay. He's like, I don't know. Josh said, I don't know if I can fully commit to that scheduling. And so him and I devised a plan that I get full creative control and I can continue on with Sit and Kick at my own leisure. And I do not want to, that's a cute dog. I do not want to ride on the coattails of Josh with this podcast. So when it comes to any merch that you guys see, when it comes to any monetization that you guys see, any guests or episodes that you guys see, if Josh is not actively in the call or actively involved in the post, he's not actively involved in the podcast. And that's just to put it forward that when Josh won the world championships and we had fan submitted memes, Josh was not actively on the podcast. I'm the one that posted those memes about Josh and Jakob and the beef that came of it. But then when Josh was running in the Diamond League, someone asked if he would made the memes. Josh doesn't make the memes. I don't make the memes. Fans make the memes. And so if you see merch, if you see anything coming out, I will not put a t-shirt out with Josh's face on it unless Josh actively was involved in the creative process to make that shirt. This is the Sit and Kick podcast. This is a podcast for you, podcast for me, podcast for Craig Engels. That little rant's over. But Craig, let's just get a little update. Let's see how you doing. How's your fall? How's your winter? You were over in Boston. You ran a good little 7:45, 4,
3.
3. Damn.
Fall's going great, brother. I'm
Yeah.
in San Luis Obispo, California, and it's 70 degrees today.
All right.
Christmas is around the corner, which it doesn't feel like. But yeah, fall's been going great. I've been training with the Cal Poly team and the slow track club we got going here.
Yeah.
I say I'm fit. Not the fittest I've ever been, but I'm pretty fit.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be the fittest you've ever been in December before
No.
the Olympics.
No.
So yeah, we got 7 months until the trials, and that's all I'm thinking about every day, you know?
Yeah. You literally wake up and it's just a thought that comes into mind.
Mm-hmm. And go to bed. Yeah.
And go to bed. Maybe a few other things, but
I think about you before bed.
yeah, okay, appreciate that. Think about anagrams and how I'm going to beat you on the next seven letter word. But no, seriously, with that, like, I joined onto your team and you left a week prior to me actually announcing that I was coming over here. But I do want to talk to you about kind of that transition that you had in the last year. And I don't want this to be like an interview. This is obviously a conversation, so you can chime back and forth with anything that you need to say. But yeah, you've been there for a full year now, and you're going into your Olympic year. You were coached by Van Hoy in 2016, is that right? The 2016
I
Olympic
left
trials?
Van in like like September of 2017.
Okay. So he coached you into the 2016 trials.
Right. And 17, where I got fourth both times.
What did you get with Pete?
In him with Pete, I got fourth.
Okay. All right.
4 years later. Actually 5. Yeah, so in 2017 in the fall, I joined the Oregon Project and was coached by Pete. And that was renamed Union Athletics in 2020, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
And then I left that in 2022.
Yeah, October of 2022, 2 weeks before I verbally committed to Pete.
And moved down, and my college coach got the job, Ryan Van Hoy got the job at Cal Poly. And I was over Portland, I was over a lot of things, and came down here and like it's a pretty fresh start and like very running focused lifestyle versus Portland. It was a very social lifestyle.
Yeah. How important was that transition though? Because I mean, obviously it was very sad to know that you were making that change, but I was also very excited for you to make that change because this is something that you wanted to do, and this is something that you thought would be best for your career. How important is it now that you're kind of involved more in like a collegiate setting with your coach?
Yeah. I don't really know what it's going to take to make the Olympics. The times I got fourth, I'm not saying it was weak, but it was definitely not as strong as Yard, Cole, Hobbs, Coop, you know. Like
Yeah.
not many people. There was probably like 3 people under 335.
Yeah.
Now there's 12.
Yeah.
So it's going to be much harder to make the Olympics, and I realized that, and I couldn't just keep doing what I've been doing for the past 4 years in Portland.
Yep.
And so I needed a coach that was going to like be in my ear every day or every week about like what I need to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like I kind of lost that being on my own so much in Portland.
Yeah.
But it's been nice like being around all these college kids. They got the energy and they got it. So
Yeah.
it's good being around their energy. And then we have Slow Track Club, which is John Rivera, who's running for Puerto Rico, who made Worlds and Pan Ams, and we got Baylor here, who was 5th at USA's. So we got a good group going. And
Nice.
Davis Bove is here. He's one of the college athletes, transferred from LSU. He's a 355 miler.
Nice. So you have a group.
We have a group, and there's a guy on the team, Aiden, who's run 146 and 339 and 356 in the mile. So we have a good training group.
Yeah. So and it's one of those things too. Where it's I know that one of those issues when it was coming down to Portland, like, and I've experienced this over the last year, and it's okay for me. Like this is actually what the transition I wanted, but it is a little bit more individualized and a little bit more solo. Like I do a lot of workouts alone, you know,
So hard.
and it is hard, and that was something that I wanted to actually try to embrace. But for you, being able to now have guys that are at not your disposal, like they're working for you, but you get to work with them. Yeah, that translates not only to positive results, but also just like a positive frame of mind when it comes to the sport, and you're not out here just grinding and doing it alone.
Yeah. I mean, dude, running's already pretty hard.
Yeah.
Doing it solo in the rain in Portland's a little bit harder.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And I'm a dedicated person, I'd say, but I'm not a Josh Kerr, like.
Yeah, you're not gonna get a burner phone. You're not gonna
Yeah.
seclude yourself in your home and then come out and win a world title. Come on,
I'm not going to give up Chipotle mostly.
that's what it comes down to. This is not sponsored by Chipotle, but hey, if you're from Chipotle and you're listening to this podcast episode, then go
I'll
ahead
take
and
the
chime in.
burrito. Yeah.
You're talking about the state of like the U.S. 1500, and normally the 1500 is such a crapshoot event because you'll have guys make that team that didn't make the year prior. Like if you look at like this year's team with it being Yared Cole and Joe Waxham, I believe
Yeah.
that how you pronounce his last name, like that's a very young team. And it almost seems as though, unfortunately, you and I, Craig, are on the latter half of the age of middle distance and professional track and field.
Mentally, we're with
Mentally, mentally, we're with
but
them, and
physically, we're older.
physically, I'm still 17. You might be 38, but when it comes to being able to go into this next Olympic year and you're coming in with 2 Olympic trials under your belt, does that give you more confidence than, say, your first Olympic trials experience when it was like a, all right, let's just see what we can do kind of thing, or let's try to make the team. Like obviously the goal is still the same, make the team, but now you're coming at it from the complete opposite spectrum.
Yeah. I mean, I never had a goal of making the team until until 2016. Like growing up, I watched the Olympics and loved the Olympics, but I never
Yeah.
thought I'd be in them.
Yeah.
But as soon as you're like in 2016, I was so stoked that I got fourth. Sorry,
Mhm.
stoked that I got fourth and fifth. And a few weeks later, I was like, oh my gosh, why am I excited? I was so close.
Yeah.
And then it became this goal of making the Olympics, and I had all this momentum going, and then COVID hit, and like I said earlier, I'm not like the most dedicated person. Just like when COVID hit and I had no races on the schedule, I was like, dude, I'm not training. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
So it like kind of completely threw my momentum out the door, and then Donovan got hurt, and yeah, it was just kind of like a big bummer for my running.
Yeah.
But so then the goal, I mean, I still had this goal in my head of making the Olympics, and 2021 rolled around and I got fourth again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'd say that those experiences are going to help, but I don't want to think about those experiences because like you're going to
Yeah.
manifest something.
As much as they matter, they don't matter,
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, yeah, and I think that's the thing though, is like, would I personally rather get fourth in the Olympics than last in the final, or fourth in the Olympic trials than last in the Olympic trials final? I don't know.
Yeah.
Fourth, you had actually a really good post after this U.S. Championships about like 3 people actually leave USA's happy.
Yeah.
and I genuinely think that's like, our sport is not very at this level, our sport is almost more extrinsically motivated than intrinsically motivated, when it comes to the things that are tied to contracts, things that are tied to incentives, things that are tied to bonuses. Like it's make a team, finish top 3, make a final, do all these types of things. So you're constantly grabbing and reaching for these straws that just feel out of reach. But once you grab one, you're like, all right, got it. Then you're immediately like, all right, go grab another one. Like you gotta keep going.
We call it the hedonic treadmill, brother.
What do you call that?
It's called the hedonic treadmill.
Oh, that's a thing. I didn't just make up some like psychological reference to track and field.
You're basically Freud, dude.
I'm Freud. I'm Pavlov. I'm drooling at the mouth for this conversation. But no, like, yeah, this is just.
I mean, this is why there's billionaires. Like they don't need it. Everyone, like people, it's running is the same as anything where you want to be more and more. And like, if Josh broke or if one of us broke the world record, you'd be like, okay, well, we did as much as we could, and you're like, no, I need to break 2.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And at the end of the day, like, hopefully for you and I, we can finish our careers regardless of what was achieved, just knowing that we at least gave the effort and time into achieving those goals during the time that we had as athletes, because we're going to be not athletes longer than we were athletes. And so for you, Craig, in 30 years from now, when they're doing this like crazy NBC segment of where's Craig Engels? It's like this NBC segment that goes, All right, in 2016 and 2000, I don't know who this announcer is, but this is who it's going to be in 2016. Okay, 2016 and 2021. We're coming back now in 2050 to find Craig Engels. Where are they coming to find you? What is your lifestyle in 2050?
Dude, probably in the grave. I mean, who knows? I'm probably gonna be. I'd like to live like what do they say? Ridden hard and hung up dry or something. There's some saying. But yeah, I mean, when I'm done running, bro, I'm just gonna do everything that I wasn't able to do for the last 12 years.
Yeah,
Mountain
yeah.
biking, skiing, solo parachuting, base jumping,
Jumping out of
NASCAR.
jumping out of an airplane without a parachute.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Whatever we got, dude, I'm going for it.
Yeah, I know that's
Maybe, or you'll find me just chilling in it. I bought an RV park, and I'm just the dude that checks everyone in and out, sells you firewood,
yeah.
talks your ear off for about 30 minutes when you don't want to talk to me. That'll probably be more like it.
It's a self-serve gas station where the people can get out of their own car and fill their gas, but you own the gas station and you pump people's gas for them, and they're like, "Can I not do this myself?" You're like, "Nope, sorry, you gotta come down here and pump it up." I'm like, "What is going on, Greg? Get back in your shop."
I come home, complain to my wife about how hard I have to work. She's like, "You don't have to do any of this."
She's like, "I literally make six figures, and you need to stay home with the kids." Um,
Where you
no, but
wait, now
what?
where are you gonna be?
Where am I gonna be?
We might be living in the same RV park, brother.
We might be living in the same ground as 6 feet deep dirt. No, I'll
Oh,
be
yeah.
I'll finally turn 30 in 2050, so maybe I'll get some facial hair and maybe, I'll become a man. But
That's
I
right.
don't know. I don't know what I'll be doing. To be honest, 2028 seems very far away from right now from an athletic
2028.
from an
God,
athletic perspective. Like, can I see myself doing this for 5 more years? Tune in next week. Tune in next year. Like, damn. So we'll see. We'll see. But beyond that, Craig, we're talking about the domestic scene of the 1500. Have you been following anything in recent days about the whole Jakob versus Josh conversation of any of that? Do you
oof.
follow any of that?
Oh no,
Um,
I have no opinion. It's just been absurd.
it's been a crazy thing of like the I mean, obviously, if it's going through Let's Run, it's going to go off like wildfire because Let's Run runs away with that kind of stuff. But what I was gonna say is it's hilarious to me that the emphasis is on Josh and Jakob in this whole 1500-meter dialogue for
And not me
Paris,
and you.
but not you and me. Come on, we're the underdogs, we're the sleeper picks. No, but it's like they are. Yes, absolutely, they're the two main characters in the fight, in the show, whatever you want to say. But there's like zero mention of the fact that like no Africans or like Kenyans, Ethiopians, they weren't on the podium at all for this World Championships for the first time in I have no idea how long. And you could go all the way back until 2000 and wait, when was it? 2000, maybe it was 2000 or 1996 was the last time somebody won a world championship and then the following year won the Olympics. It doesn't happen often. So there's a lot of storylines that could be built into this next year, but instead they want to focus on like these really clickbait grabby conversations in between Jakob and Josh, or actually really just Josh. But um, yeah, it's crazy because like right now, because nobody has anything going on, and like you and I have nothing going on, that we can hop in a Zoom call for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever, because we can. But like my social feed is Josh's stuff with Jakob, and then the end of the year drama with World Athletics. Did you see all that stuff too?
Yeah.
Greg, come on, you gotta be a cooler
I
co-host.
can say my opinions because no one cares about my opinions, but
No, I don't either.
it's all good fun.
It is all good fun. Um, what do you want to talk about, Craig?
Oh, let's talk about you, brother. You've been asking all about me. I think what the fans really, obviously, they're not here for Josh. They're not here for me. They're here for you.
Hmm. Hmm.
How's being married been? How was the wedding? How's training? How's your friend group in Portland? How's Alfie?
Oh wow, you want all the details.
Mm,
My mom's good to start.
sorry, Mama. Or I don't know.
Yeah, she's gonna be upset. Geneva's gonna be really upset at that.
Geneva. Oh
Um,
man.
Yeah,
I
you
do
could have seen
miss it.
you could have seen my mom at the wedding. She had a wild good time. She
She would have been on my shoulders. We would have been out there
she
dancing.
I genuinely believe she would have been on your shoulders. That was the most fun I've ever seen my mom have in any occasion.
Oh.
It was pretty wicked. But no, being married's awesome, man. It's like there's a conversation because my teammate Amos Bartlesmeyer, he got married too in October, and him and I have gone back and forth on like just getting married and being married actually change anything. And his side of the argument is no, nothing's changed. We're still together. It's all the same. On my side of the argument, I'm like, yeah, it's changed. And for me, it's like that maturity of like I say when you ask like how's Olivia, I say my wife is really
You
good.
say, my wife.
My wife. I don't know how many times I've said that in the last 3 months, but it's awesome. That's honestly the reason I got married was just for that. My wife. But no, it like seriously like there's a sense of maturity and pride and not ownership. That's a bad word to use. Ownership in the love that you have. Ownership in the love that you have with that person. Like there's so much
Me
pride
too.
there. And I absolutely love being able to call Olivia my wife. And when she calls me her husband, like that's a very fulfilling feeling. Knowing that we are together in this. And so taxes gonna be great, healthcare gonna be great. There's a lot of bonuses here. Do I have a hip thing going on right now? And I'm not really sure why, but it happened 2 days after the wedding. Yeah, but probably just running related. Um, no, I'm kidding. But no, life's good with the marriage. Our dog's really good. He just turned 2.5. And then training is going phenomenal. I mean, I'm in that boat with you. How you're feeling with like training alone, training in Portland, training in the rain. Like that's the grind right now. And I know you and I, when we talked in the summer, you said maybe you just hit workouts too hard. I like that's
Yeah,
kind
your
of like,
tempo was rad.
yeah, my tempos.
Yeah.
Yeah, my tempos would go crazy. Tomorrow's tempo's even crazier. Supposed to be starting at 5 flat down to 440. So we'll see. And that's 8 miles.
That
So
ain't tempo for me, brother.
my heart rate stays pretty low through it. So we're trying to stay in that zone 2.
Mm.
But it is really good. And I think that for me, like training here in Portland, working with Pete, getting that more individualized focus, understanding that like at the end of the day, I'm the one that's hitting these splits. I'm the one that's working. My mentality has shifted a little bit where like I am excited to race people and I don't really feel that fear element the same way that I did when I was with Brooks. And so I'm excited. I'm a little bit bummed at like the last year, like trying to transition to the steeple, getting absolutely obliterated every time I got on the line wasn't a good representation of how fit I was or how race ready I was. The event itself just absolutely rocked my
But are you
socks.
sticking with it?
And that's going to be something that we have to discuss through January and February because we've been doing hurdle drills, hurdle strides, and things like that. But the biggest thing is like, what is the risk and reward of going after the steeple? What is the risk and reward of going after the 15? I would love to believe that I'm in a strength element now within my training and fitness that like if I can get it right on the day in a 15, I could run really fast. And right now, running fast in the 15 is actually better than being tactically sound in a 15, in my opinion. In terms of just like the level of depth in the US. Like when we're talking about how many guys are under 335, a lot. How many guys are under 334? Not that many. How many guys are under 333? 2? Not saying that that's going to be easy to do. That's obviously incredibly hard to do. But now it's like a matter of like, do we take the risk and gamble that like your strength and your training is pushing you in that direction? Or do we put you into the event that you're not necessarily experienced at and hope that you can make waves in that? So we don't really know what we want to do, but it doesn't matter right now. I think, in my opinion, because the fall, like you said, like you're not supposed to be 100% fit or 100% ready right now. So we're gonna work through indoors and see where we're at. Last year I ran 744. You got me by a second, so I was bummed to hear you say 743. I ran 744. Finished fifth in the 3K and mile indoors. I would have liked to carry some of that momentum into a flat race instead of immediately jumping in the steeple. So if I can replicate last season or better in indoors, then I think we'll have a real conversation of like, okay, then what are we actually trying to do for? Because I mean, as close as it is, the trials are in 6.5 months.
I know, and that's gonna come so
So
quick.
quick,
Especially once we start racing, everything goes by fast.
so fast.
When is what is your race schedule?
So I'll be doing a 3K at Dempsey January, the other J month.
Being
January 14th, I believe.
oh, I can't wait to see you there.
Are you going to be there?
Yes, sir.
What are you going to run?
Whatever you run minus 1 second.
You're going to run the 3K?
No, I'm running a 1K there.
See, that's the thing. Like, that's a great race to do, like 1K mile or just the 1K. Like,
hmm
you should pace the 3K. Get some money from Andy. They'll
Yeah,
hook you up.
I'd think
But
about that.
but no, I'll do the 3K there, and then I'm doing the mile at Dr. Sanders end of January.
Nice, nice.
So that's a good race just because you put it on the calendar. You know you're going to be in it. You know it's going to be fast. People are going to want to try to win that for getting a Milrose spot with that new edition of that race.
What
'Cause
is it? The winner goes?
if you win Dr. Sanders Mile, you get into Milrose.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I think the 800 is the same.
Okay. Are you going to go for the 800 at Dr. Sanders?
No, no, I'm racing a mile at BU the same day.
Okay,
And
thank
then the
God.
next week, my agent hosts the
JDL.
Grand Prix.
Oh, wait, which one?
The Grand Prix,
The Boston?
yeah,
Hmm.
Boston Grand Prix. So
Okay.
I'm staying in Boston a week. And then USA's in Albuquerque.
Nice.
You doing that?
I'm doing that.
Yeah, 3K at altitude would kind of suck.
You know, what's funny though is Albuquerque 3Ks are such a joke because I've done two of them. I got fourth and fifth. It's an absolute sit and kick, for lack of
Nice.
better words. Nobody wants to go fast through that first mile. So, like, Prakel won it last year in the 3K, but I think our last, like, 400 was, like, 53 or 54. But it all came in, like, the last lap. I tried to get around his shoulder with a lap to go. Couldn't do it. Tucked back in, and then just absolutely tied up running, like, a 27. But, that was the race. It was for 2,600 meters, nobody really cared at all. The problem with that, though, is if you're trying to make a world team, did you see what the world standard is
No.
in the indoor 3K? I don't know if they've announced it or if it's just like on the low, but pretty sure it's like 735. And I'm
Oh,
pretty sure they're doing a straight final for the 3K. So if you have the standard, you can essentially just go.
in outdoors it was 729. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy.
Because they're just trying to do a straight final indoors. All right, Craig. You want to hit some of these questions that probably did or did not get submitted?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, isn't this a cool little software? What are you doing? How's your life? How's your love life?
Love life. I am living with my girlfriend, and her brother is here right now
All right.
in the room.
How is everything going?
Everything's good, dude. Everything's real good.
Okay. 100-meter sprint or a pint of beer. What's the fastest for Craig?
Oh, probably a pint.
I would say a pint. Yeah, you could probably because you can
10
only
minutes
run.
is good though, huh?
Yeah, you can only run probably like 14
Not, oh,
seconds for
9,
100.
8, probably.
9-8.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Eric Jenkins or Craig, who takes the other home after drunk night?
Oh man. I hope Eric's taking me home.
To be honest,
I
that wasn't
miss Eric, dude.
that wasn't Eric question either. That
I
was just
saw Eric. I got to see Eric in Boston, man. That
yeah.
was great. Great seeing him.
Do you miss training with him?
I do, yeah. He's one of the funniest humans I've ever met.
Yeah.
I missed the thing I miss most about Portland is the training camps. The training camps with Donovan and Eric and Coco, Jess. It was those were awesome. That's like some of the best memories of my pro career.
Yeah. Please ask Craig if he still has that charcoal portrait of himself.
Whoa. I think I gave it to our old massage therapist, but who was that the person who drew it?
I don't know. Hammond underscore law 03.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it might have been that person, but it was beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah, I gave it to our massage therapist though. He lives in Salt Lake City now.
That's awesome.
I didn't
Favorite
want
thing
to,
about
I didn't really want a drawing of me in my own house.
yeah. Favorite thing about Mississippi.
Oh, probably Robert Domanic. Dude, honestly, it was flawless. I got to live with Robert Domanic there a couple years ago when I was finishing up my master's degree, and
Yeah.
so fun.
What do you have your master's degree in?
Oh, theater.
Is that actually what it is?
No, my undergrad was theater-ish.
Yeah.
So my master's degree is business so that I can tell all these old farts that I have a worthwhile degree. It's a long story. And just when old people ask, I didn't want to have to tell them my degree, so I got a master's degree.
Nice. You say I have a master's.
Yeah.
Does he think he still has enough in the tank to qualify for the Olympics in the 1500?
Yes.
Yeah.
When I imagine myself, I don't imagine myself making the team. Maybe everyone's this way, but I imagine myself winning the trials.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. I'm not fighting for third or second, I'll be like going for the win.
Yeah. If you go for the win and finish 12th, is what it is. No, I'm just kidding. Very different results if you go for the win and finish 12th.
Did something big wrong there.
Never mind. I was gonna say thank you for actually coming on to the podcast. I know you. I think you have 2 guest appearances, so I still have to redeem one at some point in the next couple of years.
Good segue into a story. Why?
Yeah. Why is that the case, Craig? No, you don't have to go into heavy details. Remember, you are in the room with your girlfriend's brother.
He is upstairs.
All right. Go ahead and break down the story however you'd like to. No.
So, contract negotiation was coming up. My first Nike contract was coming to an end, and I was looking at what options I had. One of those options was joining David and Josh and Henry in Seattle. So I went on a visit, and these guys thought they knew how to seal the deal. They thought that going to, one of these fancy restaurants where these people are wearing like next to no clothing, and it's mostly females there. They thought that would sway me one way or the other. And it almost did.
I know, and it's crazy. I'm not even gonna say what our bar tab was, but I can tell you that we tipped the servers like what, $400, $500? The podcast tipped the servers about $400, $500. So that you can only imagine how big the bill was.
I had a good time, but I didn't. Yeah, I had a great time.
I mean, yeah. So if you guys are wondering why I'm in a state of monetization and I'm trying to do ad reads, it's because we're still actually in debt from the time that we tried to get Craig over there. Honestly, had we gotten you there and I got booted, I'd be a very sad man. I would blame myself, thinking, if I didn't bitch to him so much to join this team, maybe I'd still have a contract.
Oh yeah.
No, but when you left here, I mean, that opened it up for me. So thanks. No, I'm just kidding. No. Honestly, Craig, I mean, we're 33 minutes into this. We don't got to keep rolling. I mean, I know you got a lift. I know you got things going on. For me, guys, like I said, I just want consistency. I want you guys just to be able to keep hearing our podcast in your earlobes when you're running, when you're walking, when you're cleaning, when you're doing anything, when you're doing push-ups, when you're studying for your SATs, when you're getting ready for your finals.
Can they see us?
We might use this for video. Yeah, I might throw this on YouTube.
I really hope they can see you because you look good, brother.
Appreciate that.
Uh-huh.
No, the new software that we're using, guys, is spectacular. So that's why it was so easy to get those reels up of Nico and Drew. So easy to get the stuff up on YouTube. Appreciate everybody going out and checking us on YouTube for a little bit of an ad read for our own podcast. We are on YouTube. We are going to be uploading episodes on YouTube. So please like, subscribe, comment, kind of push us into that algorithm because we're going to want to be able to get into that monetization stage there. So like I said, we can work back the debt that we tried to get Craig to join the Brooks team. So yeah, Craig, is there anything like burning thing that you want to get going? I mean, we can make this a quick 40-minute episode, just a nice easy chat.
Let me tell you something, Dave, and I'm probably going to need your help along the ways. Dave's made me a couple Instagram reels and they've done very well. I don't really know what I'm doing, to be fair, but I'm gonna post. You gotta tell me if this is gonna be good or not. But I want to be way more consistent and have like a storyline to my social media leading up to the trials.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, a lot of people out there probably don't think I'm gonna make the Olympics. So I don't know if they're gonna look at it as stupid or a distraction or what. To be fair, I don't really care. But yeah, I want to record a video explaining. I think most of my followers probably don't even know how to make the Olympics. Because fair enough, we don't really know. Like, sometimes it's points, sometimes it's times, and then it's top 3 on the day, maybe. So I was just gonna make a video explaining like when the trials are, where the trials are, whatever. And then say like I'm gonna be very consistent with my social media and post like whatever you guys want to see in my daily life or whatever routine and stuff. And but I'm nervous, dude. I'm
Yeah.
nervous to be like a vlogger.
Like transparent.
No, no.
No, not even
People can
transparency.
come live with me, and I don't mind someone else filming me, but I'm nervous to be doing this thing in public where I'm like holding this or filming other people, you know?
Yeah. So here's some advice that I'd give. Are you looking for advice, or what are you looking for from me?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I just need
So
to get that off my chest, brother. It's been
no,
weighing
of
me.
course, of course. Yeah, Craig. No, I appreciate you being so open and public about this. And if you guys listen to this episode, like and subscribe to Craig's new YouTube channel.
No, it'll all be through Instagram.
Yeah. So what I'll say to that is like there are those moments where you see somebody in like an airport, or you see someone at a park and they have their phone out and they're obviously blogging or they're obviously vlogging and they're engaging with their phone. Okay. Now, from an outsider, me seeing that or somebody seeing that, you could worry that those people are going to judge you and those people are going to say that is weird or that's awkward or that's unfortunate. My biggest advice to you is the people that hold those opinions that is not cool or that it's awkward or silly or dumb,
Hmm.
that's not your target audience. Those people that are making fun of you for that aren't the people you're actually trying to reach. So when I'm doing these types of things on my social media, like I had that very transparent post that I posted 2 days ago talking about like my post Falmouth race, and it was like I'm excited about the next opportunity to get fit and get healthy and start racing again. And that was a month before I lost my contract. There's going to be my friends and people that I know that respect me in the sport that see that are like, this is dumb. This is like, Olivia said it in a way, she's like, this is a very classic David post. And that's okay because I pride myself in that transparency. I'm not trying to cater to the people that don't want to see it. I'm catering to the 1%, 2% people that need and want to see that. Seriously, like if I'm
Yeah.
transparent for this post and it helps change somebody's life, then I think that's absolutely worth it. Like I got 2 DMs from that post. And I'll just actually read. And this is me encouraging you, Craig, to just be yourself and continue to like create content for people because this is the medium for our sport right now. We don't have ESPN. We don't have big networks following us. We simply just have like our channels and we push and we create that space. So I created that video, like I said. Somebody said yesterday, I'll keep their name out of it and I'll keep their university, but they said, hey David, big fan of the podcast and Josh and you in general. Just saw the monologue you posted on Instagram and just wanted to write a message. I'm a sophomore and the transition to college has been really tough. So far, as I haven't been able to run many personal bests or win many races, even when I know I am fit. Obviously, I knew things would be much more difficult in college, but it feels as if, regardless of the race, good or bad, I am never able to feel happy or satisfied with the race. I'm always frustrated or upset, and I pick things that could have been different. I love running and everything about it, but I have been struggling to be happy with the races, which is the thing that I always have enjoyed most, the competition. I figured I'd share this with you and see if you had any suggestions. That's who my post is for.
Hmm.
That's my target audience. If somebody's struggling and wants to feel as though they can get that off their chest and talk to me about it, because running is such a collective experience. And so for you documenting your your build up into the trials. I was gonna say transition into the trials. Your build up into the trials. Like
Uh-huh.
one, I'm gonna be a fan of that. That's gonna be fun for me to watch. I think that stuff's so cool because you're actively promoting yourself and creating content. Think about the post that you had, Craig, with the brown lingerie and your race uniform. Let me just run those numbers out to the podcast. If you guys have not seen this, that was one of the most ridiculous analytics I've ever seen on a post like that.
You can see them yourself?
Oh wait, oh no, you screenshot them at one point. I can't see it,
Uh,
but I used to when I had access to your account. I took that off. I have 5. I have access to 5 accounts. Okay, so just read them out loud, Craig. I can't read that.
it got 26,000 likes, which is so funny. 300 comments, which is okay. But 9,317 shares, which
Yeah,
I'm guessing were people being like, "Hey, do you think he's actually wearing this thong in this race?"
yeah, yeah. So like you can never know what people are saying. Like it's like that monologue that I sent out got sent 5 times to people. Not a lot. That's okay. But those 5 times could have been people absolutely shit talking it. I'm okay with it. You know, they could probably be like, God, David on his soapbox again, talking about inspiring people and bullshit. He can't even win a race. You know, like those are the things that I think about. Like, why does anyone actually listen to me? And I'll say that I had a conversation, and I don't know why this has just turned into a TED talk, but I'm going to keep going. 2 weeks ago, I sat in an NXN, and I was on the guest panel, and it was me on stage with Sinclair Johnson, Krista Schweitzer, and Woody Kincaid. And I was sitting there at lunch with Justin Knight, and I was like, yeah, I'm actually kind of nervous because like one of them on stage is not like the rest. Like making fun of myself, like self-deprecating. Like I'm the odd man out here. We got Sinclair, Carissa, and Woody, and David Ribich. Like, come on, like what is happening here? But the coolest thing about that was Justin said, he's like, to be honest, those kids are going to be able to relate to you more than they're going to be able to relate to the likes of Woody or Sinclair or Carissa, because you didn't have stellar high school PRs. You didn't have this natural trajectory to where you are. He's like, you're going to help those kids more than those athletes will. So just own yourself and own your story and just be who you want to be on the stage. I'm like, Jesus, Justin, like
that was beautiful.
So with you, when you're doing this stuff, like build up into the trials, the hardest part is going to be consistency.
Yeah.
So if you genuinely were like in slow and you're at the university and you wanted to hire call him an intern on the track team to help create your content, and then they can throw that on the resume, genuinely, someone is going to pick you up on that.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
So, and because what happens is when you have someone that can like do that for you, it alleviates that mental pressure and mental energy to create the content. You can at least be on the camera, tell them what you want. You could pay me $50 a reel if you really want me to, Craig. Just send me the stuff. But no, I think that's a great idea. I don't think you should hold back on it. Because if you make the team and you have all that documentation, that'll blow up like wildfire. You know, it'll be so cool. Yeah. If you don't make the team, you still got to document the journey of it. And that's an absolute incredible compromise, is you still got to document it. And you're very present in that too. So.
Well, thank you for the inspiration. Yeah, I just don't really like have goals of like, I never had goals of being like a social media presence, but I think it would be fun. Like I only want to do this because I think it would be fun. And when I'm older, I'll be like, whoa, that's cool. Like, yeah, watch back. But I'm not going to post things like just to post. I'll probably post when I want to, which would probably be once a week.
Yeah. And another way to look at it too is like, post for yourself. Don't post for anybody else. Like, when you get to look back on it. And like, another thing that I'm experiencing with that is, so like, I'm writing a book, a story. I don't know if it'll ever get published. I don't know if it'll ever be seen by anyone other than my own eyes, but I'm writing it for the own self-satisfaction of knowing that I could do it. Right. Mm-hmm. And that's super, super cool to me, because a lot of the things that I do with the podcast, with social media, with my book that I've already published, I'm all about reaching the masses, but I get a lot of gratification just doing it for myself. So I would say that's the best attitude to have is make the reels and make the content for yourself.
Yeah. That's what I've
cool. Yeah. You're telling me that you're not catering to the likes of a 27-year-old males in Portland, Oregon with a wife and a dog? Because I'll tell you what, you hit my algorithm every time.
You are my target.
White males in their mid-20s. Or 55-year-old white women.
Yeah, there you go.
But no, I think that's cool. Any other burning questions, Craig? That just burned another 7 minutes.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know what the people want to know or whatever, but if you guys if you have made it this far on the podcast and you're listening and you have ideas of videos you want to see a professional runner make, or like if you want to know a little bit more about what we do all day, which is not much, send me a message on Instagram. But also, I don't expect anyone to be that excited about this besides me.
What do you mean?
But I bought a selfie stick.
Let me see it.
I went to a store called Five and Below and bought like
there we go.
$5 one, and it broke immediately after opening. So I went on Amazon and bought this one.
Okay, that's nice.
Oh,
that's sick.
Big time.
No, people will be excited about that, because also, like, think about who in the 1500 is fun to watch right now. It's an absolute snooze fest of talent, incredible world-class athletes, but an absolute snooze fest of personality and transparency. No offense.
Transparency is a big one.
So it's like, yeah. So it's like you doing this, you already stand out because you're one of the most accomplished and one of the greatest milers in American history from 2016 on, with your consistency and your ability to be right there in the money. Seriously. So not only do you have the resume to back up what you're saying, you also have the personality and the relatability because you're just a genuinely good human. And then 3, yeah, people are going to want to follow that.
Well, Dave, you're welcome to come down to California anytime for a training camp.
Yeah, quit this recruitment, Craig. You told me to come down to Portland, and I got here, and then you left.
Just keep heading south.
Have you listened to any MGK recently?
I haven't.
I haven't either. I kind of got burned out. I haven't listened to him in
I guess I haven't been sad. Well, sad enough to listen to MGK.
Fair enough.
Dave and I, how many concerts have you been to? Just one?
4 now, 5.
4.
I've gone to a lot recently.
No, MGK concerts.
1.
Yeah. Dave and I went to an MGK. This is Machine Gun Kelly together. I've been to another one with Kellen. So Kellen and I have been to 2.
Nice.
We had a good time though.
They are good. I mean, yeah.
They were.
Yeah.
It was just, it matched the time, like it was COVID, everyone's mad, sad, and MGK just filled that.
It's so sad, but it's so true too. Yeah. I got nothing else for you, Craig. I can see if anything came back through, but I honestly really do, again, appreciate you just coming on and being a friend and being a fan of the pod and being a fan of me. I know you are.
Big fan of you. I just want everyone to know that Dave and I play anagrams a lot, and I think I have the winning record.
You absolutely have the winning record.
It's kind of like Josh Kerr versus Jakob Ingebrigtsen.
We're gonna move on.
Can't bring up their record, I guess.
Yeah, there's no one else has submitted questions because nobody actually finds this interesting. So that pretty much wraps it up for me, Craig. Did you want to name the episode? Who's dog?
Let's just say something about banter with the boys.
Yeah, just a quick banter sesh.
Say hey, Phoebe. She's a deaf dog.
Why would I say hey to a deaf dog?
I'm telling her to say hey.
Oh, they said say hey to this deaf dog. I go, I don't think that's how that works. Oh yeah, okay. Well, Craig, yeah, banter with the boys. We'll just let it reel with that. Don't got to do a countdown. Don't got to do anything. Just banter with the boys. So, appreciate you guys listening to this. Appreciate you guys watching this on YouTube, listening to it. Yeah. So.
Oh wait! I need to mention something.
Okay.
Monetarily, it's beneficial to me. I'm sponsored by X Endurance.
Okay, great. Sponsored by X Endurance. Check them out. Is there a discount code you could throw in there?
I don't know, man. I think there is, but I don't know mine.
This episode is brought to you by Nike, but not because they sponsor the podcast, but because they help us pursue our dreams.
Gang, we got a Nike tattoo. There.
Wait, you actually do?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I have the Brooks chevron tattooed on me too, but I can't show that. Just kidding. All right, guys. That's it. And then